features in Scéal focus on two things. The first one is that as a ghost, you're essentially moving through this world unnoticed and unseen by the living inhabitants. You'll be able to observe, move through it in a ghostly manner, and at certain points you'll also be able to make yourself visible and manifest to the living in the form of an angelic apparition or a scary banshee. The other key feature in Scéal is that you have this Groundhog style day situation where you will be trapped in a single day of events, and it'll start from dawn and the game will change. We'll go through the various states of the day from dawn to morning to afternoon to evening to night. And when it gets to the end of night and dawn breaks again, it will reset back to exactly the way it was at the start of the day. So as you go through the world, you're basically learning each time a little bit further what you need to do to solve the challenge, where the object is you're looking for, etc. In Scéal, the inking system works as follows. You have three different types of ink. We could call it negative, neutral and positive, or winter, spring and summer. And each one has a different style, creates the world, repaints the world in a very distinctive style. So in the world itself, there are various sources of ink, of magical ink if you will. You can call them like ink fountains. And when you find one, you're able to absorb some of the ink from it and then use it as you go through the world to paint it. So let's talk a bit about what you're going to do as a player and what kind of challenges you're going to face in Scéal. You can imagine it that each chapter of this story is going to take place as a single day. Now within that day, you're going to have to accomplish a number of tasks. So imagine that at the start of the day, the storybook is a complete blank page. Everything that's there is very rough and crude. The first thing you're going to need to do is you're going to need to paint the world so that it becomes in much finer detail. And once you've painted that whole world and inked it into a fine level of detail, essentially it comes alive. The animals appear, the villagers wake up and start to wander around the village and go on with their daily tasks. At this point, you're going to need to track down certain villagers who know information and will be able to help you find out your story. They'll have a clue for you, but they'll want something in return for that clue. Usually it'll be something along the lines of repainting the world in a specific mood or style that they want. So you might meet somebody who has in a bright summer's day, who has a negative aura around him, and he'll say to you, well, I know what you're looking for, but before I can remember it, I need you to repaint the world so it looks how I feel. So you'll need to go back in and essentially re-ink the world into that color. Once you've done that, the villager will then give you a clue, and this unlocks the third and final part of your task each day, which is you need to use this clue to track down this item that you're searching for. You can think of this a bit like a treasure hunt, where they'll give you a fragment of the map with an X marks the spot, and then you have to look at this fragment and try and figure out where it is based in the real world around you, and then go on an exploration for it. And once you've completed that, that essentially completes the full day and breaks the spell, and you're able to move on to the next day, or the next chapter, if you will, in the story.